Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, in this field, everybody talk about Python skills, math skills, and many skills. But I want to know which are the three tools that you recommended to start in this field?
Okay. Um, I'm supposing that we are talking about data science, or are we talking about data engineering? That is my focus or my
Just for
field.
just for this.
Okay, yeah. Well, if we are talking about data engineer, I strongly recommend to start programming in Python, because Python is a programming language that can be used for many things: web development, scripting, Bash. So I recommend to learn data. If you set a platform for processing that data, you have to do Python analysis or Python data processing or Python scripts for set everything. So that's the first thing is Python programming. The second one is to get a very strong, I don't know how to say this, analyzing data analysis, because everything that you do in your work goes around the analysis of the data that you do. You should know the business, you should know the data to make the right decisions. So that is a second skill. It is not a tool, but it's a skill, data analysis. And the third one, I guess it could be design, at least in data engineering, design platform design, because several times you will be asked to create the structure or the architecture for your data to be processed. So you need to know which platforms do you want to use, if the platform should be the cloud or not. um, or you will be asking yourself if you need a data warehouse or no, because you don't have enough data to do a big data warehouse. Maybe you just need a database as it is. And yeah, that's, I think those are the three main components for data engineers. But if we are talking about data science, that it's a different story. The first one that I recommend is programming, always, because everything in the data science, I describe data science as a set of disciplines, like data visualization, data engineering, machine learning, probably hacking, and data modeling. So in all those disciplines, you need to programming. I'm not telling you that you should be an expert in programming, but you need to know how to program. The second skill is math and statistics, because if you want to become a data engineer, a machine learning engineer, or a data scientist, you need to know that. I know that nowadays we have a lot of frameworks and a lot of technologies that allow us to analyze data like in a black box. But if you want to be a good data scientist, you need to know math. And the third one, I think, is software engineers skills. I think because when you are developing some project in machine learning, you need to think more more than just your actual work. I mean, you need to think that the model that you are creating is gonna be placed in some software, or is going to be presented as a form of an application, or as a form of a web page. I don't know. You need to think about that. So that is what I recommend the most.
Okay, thank you. It's clear for me. The programming in
No
Python,
problem.
the programming in Python
Programming.
yeah, Python,
Yeah.
and it's more difficult via data science that software data analysis, right?
Right.
Right.
No problem.
Okay, so since like the sound is fixed, we can hear on any transmission place. So, well, good things to know. And we have a question from the chat here. He's asking Tejedor de Alas question about the language Julia and R. I don't see any questions. Seems like he's trying to ask your experience with us with those programming languages.
Yes, I haven't had a chance to explore Julia. I have heard that is good. There are a lot of programming language that people said that are good for data science or for data engineers, but I prefer, like in Spanish, we says más vale bueno por conocido que malo por conocer. I don't know how to say that in English. So if I know that that I have a good programming language that is covering everything that I need, so I just stay with that programming language. So I mainly focus on Python, and I use R. I used R when I was studying my master degree, and I love it. I like the user interface because you have everything in the same place. You have the files, the charts, the interface for programming. Everything is in there, but I think it's less used than Python because it's less potential. I don't know if that is correct. It's not the focus is not for data processing, but you have everything for statistics in R. So you can do a lot of analysis in R with certain limit of data because then it crashes, unfortunately. And you are allowed to do also amazing data visualization, better than in Python. I could say that, but yeah, I think that the purpose are different. Python is for more data processing intensive, and R is for more statistical and analytics stuff.
Yeah,
Always programming.
yeah, it seems like no matter the language, you have to build things based on a programming language, regardless of the programming language. And I would like to
Exactly.
know about the mathematics of data science. What's your experience regarding mathematics on data science?
Uh,
What?
I am terrible in mathematics. To be honest, yeah. When I studied my master degree, it was focused on data engineering, data in data. But I wanted to complement that um, profession with machine learning. So I went to Germany to study specifically machine learning. 6 months of studying are not maths, are not math. So that's why I think I am not a data scientist because I am not good at math. They are very important. For me, also, it's very difficult to if you have seen papers, the notation of the math of the algorithms is very mathematical. I'm terrible translating that one into Spanish or into programming. I know the notation, but I just think that math is not my thing. But I'm for sure can tell you that it's very needed if you want to be a good data scientist that want to go beyond just using frameworks and just using algorithms that Python provides or that TensorFlow provides. Yep.
I got it. Yeah, I'm pretty bad at mathematics as well, so I feel you. I feel you totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks, Teresita. We got a question from the chat, and there is why few resources in Spanish, best only in English. What's your opinion about the resources of the data science field? Why do you think that they are the best on English?
Well, unfortunately, there are a few people in the Latin American side that is creating content in Spanish. Most of the content is in English because we have as a Latin American or are near to the United States in some way. So they are pioneers on creating things and developing things. So we are near, and we get noticed when they release something. So when a new technology emerged, we know that that technology emerged because there are a lot of companies, tech companies that are in our Latin American side countries that are using or want to start using that technology. So I think that is the main cause that there are a lot of resources in English more than in Spanish, because they are pioneers on doing that, and we just learn. We are not pioneers really in discovering something or in implementing something. Sadly, but it's true.
Yeah, I think it's understandable because at the end we have to use the technology to build a solution for a company or a certain business model. So I think that we have one noisy guest, which is Luis. No worries, Luis. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Sorry.
You're just in time to participate on the meeting, so you can ask question about that science with Teresita. Welcome to the meeting.
Hello, Teresita. How are you?
Hey, everything is good, thank you. What about you?
Good, good, good.
Great.
Okay. Well, we have another question from the chat, which is data science demand will be rising in the future. What's your perspective of that, the job demanding or job positions on part in this year?
I think it's currently demanding, at least in Latin America. It is. I've been in the United States, and it's not new for them. Data scientists are like any other tech role or professional career in there. But for us here in Latin America, is different because we are starting to apply that technology or that knowledge that they already have into our companies or in our environment. So I think the time is now. Unfortunately, we haven't understood the requirements for a data science or what the data science is or what a data scientist does, because you can see a lot of or vacancies as job offers, but they are looking for a unicorn. They are asking for everything, for a god that can solve any kind of problems, and that is not how it works. So I think we have a challenge. We have first understood what data science is. Then we have to see if we need data science because or we are requiring something because it's just a trend. No, we have to know if we require data science, and third, we we need to know what a data scientist does.
Absolutely agree with you, especially on the job market, because you have to solve a specific kind of problem that help the company understand their data related to their product, so they can build better solutions to their customers. And I think that's really important to get to know uh, what what is out about that science field, because everybody is excited about the topic, but no one is actually focusing the right time for it. And from my experience regarding computer science, any computer science topic, I think that one of the best ways to learn is about joining a community that is talking about a specific topic. And I would like to if you wish, can you share all the information that you have about your community data lab, how people can join or how people can get involved in your community, and you just make their interest well solved when they have questions about it?
Sure. Well, Data Lab community was born on April 2017, I guess. We are about to have 5 years working for the community. That community is all of you, and we born because of the needs of people speaking about data science. So we are a staff of around 12 people. Most of them have a PhD in computer science.
Wow.
Yeah. I think we are well prepared for share our knowledge with people, but we are also very diverse. We have people that is not in the field of data science, but want to help people to know what data science is, and that make us an awesome community because we complement different profiles, just like the data science too. We are very multidisciplinary team, and yeah, we work in pro of the sharing of the knowledge about data science. We have meetups. One month we have a meetup. The first that we are gonna have is the next month in February. I can tell you the topic yet, but yeah, it's in February. Then the other one will be in April, and then in June. Each 2 months we have a meetup, and we have a mainly event that is hosted from April to August. That is the Social Data Challenge. It's an event when you must solve a social problem using data, open data, and data science. So everyone here is invited to join us. You can find us as a data lab MX in all our social networks: Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and Twitter. Yep. But yeah, we are a community that I can assure you that we know what we are talking about. So if you are interested in data science or all topic related to data science, data visualization, data engineering, a little bit of hacking, you can contact us. Yep.
That's really awesome. Thanks for sharing all the information. For sure, you can share us all the meetings you organize on the Texas community. Feel free to do it.
Oh yeah. Thank you. I will do that.
Does anybody have a question?
Go ahead.
I have a question regarding tech communities. I see you are involved in the community's ecosystem, and I would like to know what's your point of view of the current panorama? Is there anything you would like to change?
Yeah, less hate. Less hate in between communities, because I know that there are a lot of communities for different purpose, but sometimes we are not working together as we should. I'm not saying that we hate each other, but I just telling that I would like to have more communications, to do some partnership between communities to 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 have more people listening to us, because maybe some of you came to this community, to digital community, just with the purpose of practice your English, but actually we are learning more than that, because we all have very different roles, and we all come from very different places, and we are actually sharing what we know. So there is a initiative that I would like to start, or to call people who is listening this program. Um, let's join us, and let's do things, because if in the communities has a great power, just to make people learn something, understand things, and create things. So I think, yeah, we can work together to do our best.
Thank you, Teresita. That's a great
No problem.
insight.
Yeah, I agree with you because especially from a community world, it's a really hard working topic because we have to spend from our time and sometimes from our own pockets to make things happen, and especially for sure these kind of events. So if you wish to collaborate with us, you are completely welcome. We can help you to make another things happen regarding your community, even it's in Spanish. This is why we are here, because we believe that if we help each other as a community, we're just doing our work as a whole community as well.
Yep.
So does anybody have another question for Teresita?
Yes, me. Hi, Teresita. What are the most valuable skills for data engineering?
Okay, the most valuable skill for data engineer is the problem solving skill. I could say that because there are several technologies, several tools, a lot of other skills that you should have to be. But if you are not a problem solver, you are gonna fail because most of this on our life, daily life is about solving problems. That you have a problem with this database because it's not been in sync with all data, that you have to solve a problem that the data is not being processing correctly, or that you have another data source coming from another place and you have to make sure that all data was placed in the right database or something. Everything is problem. So you must have the the intelligence to decide what are you gonna do for solve all those problems. If you need a technology that you don't know to solve that problem, you can learn the technology, but you cannot learn how to solve problems.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
We have a question from the thanks, Teresita. We have a question from the chat. Would you like to work on a FANG company? Facebook, Apple, Amazon. I think that you already mentioned that you worked on Intel, right? Do you consider that
Yes.
that fits on that category?
I don't think so. Intel is a more old-fashioned company, I think. Yeah. So I don't consider it as a FANG, but it was nice to work in there. It's a very different work environment than in a startup or in another kind of medium technology. It was a good experience because there are more. Google is her client, Facebook is its client, so you have a big responsibility to make processors good for other companies, not just for the general people. So it was a really good experience. But talking about the FANGs, I think I would like to work in that one because I consider myself as a very relaxing people, a very relaxed people. So I prefer to spend. I do my work, and I I put time to do my work, to do everything that I need to do for the community and other personal projects that I have. But I like to spend time with my family, my friends. And as far as I've heard about the FANGs, as they offer you everything, you don't have to go even to your place to have a snap or to have a sleep. They have everything in their place, so that make you to stay there. I'm not saying that they not have balance between life. I think they have, but I like to control mine. So yeah, I prefer to stay in my work. Besides, I found very challenging to work in companies that are not FANGs because you need to start from zero, from scratch, and you need maybe use the technologies that the FANGs creates for you to do certain things, and you do not reinvent the wheel. But for me, it's very challenging to create another kind of business. So yeah, that's why I prefer to stay away, at least for now.
Yeah, it's totally understandable. Thank you, Teresita. Just an off-topic question. I would like to, seems like you are the moderator of the call, Teresita. So can you give me
Okay.
the rights for the call? Yes.
Just tell me what to do, because I don't really know the platform.
Yeah, just follow your profile, see your video, and there is a three dot menu, so you can see the moderator's rights. You
Hmm.
can you can send me, you can give me the
I did
moderator's
something.
right.
Why do I have the moderator right?
That's crazy thing because I think that GT gives the moderators rights randomly. That's something that we're learning now. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's maybe yeah, absolutely. I know I have the moderators. Thank you.
No problem.
I will clear. Yeah, and okay. Thank you. We have a question from the chat, which is from Slackmar. Is there a data lab Telegram group from your community?
No, there is not. We have a Slack channel. Um, it's not so active because we use it mostly when we do the social data challenge in order to create a channel for all the people who wants to participate in the challenge and doesn't have a team. So we create a groups channels for people to meet each other and create teams. But actually, some of the people that are really interested in data science or have any question, ask us directly in Slack, and we solve their questions. So we have a Slack channel. Yep,
Absolutely. Thank you, Teresita.
no problem.
So, does anybody has another question for Teresita? You can write it on the chat. Let me see the YouTube comments.
Okay.
Let's see. From the books, do you recommend?
Well, believe me or not, books related to it, Python programming, data science, but it talks about an application that is gonna host a lot of data intensive applications. So yeah, for me, I'm not in the machine learning side. That is when people call data scientist side. I'm most in the data engineering part, that is in charge of processing data, structure data, make the data quality as better as.
Okay.
But there is if you are interested in the data science and you want to know about algorithms and machine learning, there is a lot of material in over the internet that can help you.
Well, that's awesome. I think that it will be the best. Even I believe that it's because the data.
There is no recipe for applying data science. It depends on the business. Basically, it depends
Okay.
on the business. What is needed in a fintech is not needed in the health side, or is not needed. You could just modify the algorithm. So
That's a really good point because you have to maybe it will focus the same for any other kind of field.
This on starting look over the internet that they found a lot of things, but because there are a different, very different data science model portfolio, just think about that problem that you
mentioned that people get or any other similar feeling about feeling and get right on the head.
Fortunate project in my companies. So I always ask because I am so stubborn and I always want to solve the problem by myself. But there is a point when, just as you mentioned, when I got reached the frustration when I need to ask someone. And but I like to ask, but telling them what I already did, because it is not a matter of asking, oh, I don't know how to do that, or could you tell me how to do this? I like to do something like this. I need to look to do this. I already did this. It doesn't work because of that, and I am actually trying to do this and other stuff. Do you think this is gonna work, or what do you think about that? But make the other people knows that you really try to solve your problem, and that you have a lot of sense about the problem, and knowledge about what the problem is. So that will help also the people that you are asking to understand better your problem and help you faster, I think.
Yeah, I also believe that helping them to help you is really important because you're giving a roadmap so they can give you punctual answers so you can find a solution quickly. That's a really good strategy. And I think that it applies to every field because sometimes you think that you have all the knowledge of the world, but when you have to work on something, it turns out that it's not. You have to ask questions and be part of the team of your work. And that's a really good point to mention that teamwork is really important, especially regarding this field.
Yes, it's very important.
Thank you, Teresita.
No problem.
So, does anybody have another question?
I have another question here.
Yeah.
Teresita, can you please share with us a daily work, your daily work? How is your day? How's your task, your journal, please?
Okay. Well, right now it's very intensive days because we are in the middle of a transformation in the company. So typically what I do is just to arrive at 9. And I said arrive because but I just walk from my room to my office here in my house. and I started to look at the channel. We have a Slack channel when we have alarms from the to monitor some processes, and I start to looking at that to see if
I'm sorry, Teresita, but it seems like you turned your microphone off for some reason.
oh, sorry.
No, no worries.
Yeah, it was an accident, sorry. Well, I'm just gonna start again because I don't know how far do you listen to me. I started to review in the Slack channel because we have set several alerts for some process that we had. So I need to see if some of them fail or not during the night. So if some they fail, I need to go to the process and review what happened and solve that problem or something. If nothing happens, that's good. I can continue working with my other stuff. Right now, I am working in the data quality side. In the data, we already have a data pipeline. We already have had a process that process our data. So we are set with that. But right now we are having some issues with the data quality. So I am working on on doing a lot of counting of the data as far as the data arrives from the original source, counting how many records do we have. Then, as we process it, that batch of data, counting how many data do we have, if to see if we lose data or all the data is correct. And then when that data comes to the data warehouse, counting the data to the data lake, to the data warehouse, and see what happened if we lose data. The single point in here is to track the data, to see that all the data that came from every place is the right data that we have in the final place. So there are a lot of small steps, small processes that we have to do in order to do that. And they are some of them are manually, some others don't. So I need to do that, and are very time consuming because we have a lot of data, huge amounts of the data, huge amounts of data. Sorry, and yeah, it's very time consuming. So right now we are that's what I'm doing. That is my typical day, counting and matching and dealing with process. But yeah, that is what it look like in these days. Some other days are more fun. If we have some failure, we have to track what fails in some process, and I like that because that's why I need my programming skills, because I start to debugging all the data pipeline to see where the failure is, and to start working on that remediation. But yeah, that is more or less.
Let's see. Does anybody have another question? See if I miss.
Audience today.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so. I think that it's because we have one free day to just rest. But I hope
Exactly.
that this is why we're recording this session, so we can watch it on the future. Okay, well, let me see. Let me check the YouTube comments. Oh yeah.
Because I need to go.
Okay, thank you. Do you use machine learning or deep learning? Maybe I believe for your work.
I don't use and data governance. Yep. But I used to use machine learning only. I didn't deep about machine learning because as you remember, I told you that I am pretty bad in math. So I prefer to start with the traditional machine learning and then go to the deeper machine learning. So if I was able to understand traditional machine learning, I I will go to the deep learning. But deep learning is, for me, it's a black box, a bigger black box than traditional machine learning. Solves a lot of problems and in a very easy way. But for me, my goal was to learn traditional machine learning instead of the deep learning. So I am seeing a lot of people that are very I don't know how to say preocupada,
Worried about?
worried about deep learning, but they should actually be focused on traditional machine learning first to understand the basis. I think.
Yeah, I think that it's important that if you are solving a problem, and if you get stuck, I think that is really useful to get back to the basics.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you. We have a question from the chat, and there is tell me what is the most complicated problem in your work, I believe, if you have the permission to share it. But sorry.
No problem. The most complicated, I think it was the data lineage. Data lineage is something that we need to do in order to know every data, to know where it's coming from, where it stopped, what do we do with that data, and then how it ended in our databases. So we created the data pipeline, we create everything, but we didn't track the data. So now that we have tons of tables, we have to go manually one by one, tracking them, and yeah, uh, looking for them in the data source, then in the data lake, then in the data warehouse, and it's like reconstruct the history of the data, reconstructed, because we need to know if something failed with that data. We need to know the history of the process of that data, so we can go through that process again and fix the problem. And I think that is not complicated, but that is so so I don't know how to say that. It's not complicated, but it's some wasting time activity. So yeah, I think that is one of the most complicated things.
Yeah, I think that is because you have to do a step by step by just to notice what it went wrong. And it seems like if you got a lot of data, it seems a really fun task for a day.
Exactly. Yeah, even for weeks.
Wow. All right, so let me see the YouTube comments. There's nothing. Well, we already passed 1 hour.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this, Teresita? Do you want to continue to talking about your experience, or do you want to stop the session, take a break, or how do you feel?
Oh, I'm fine doing this. I'm just want to make sure that nobody. I want to make sure that everyone gets an answer if they have questions. So that's okay for me.
That's really awesome. So let me ask on our audience. Does anybody have another question for Teresita? You can write it on the chat so we can help you to answer or ask for you. Okay, we have a question from the chat. Do you mention a data lake? Do you use map reduce? Seems like I believe that this is a programming question, right? A map
Yes.
reduce. Yeah.
Yeah, MapReduce. No, I don't. We don't. This is a good approach, but as I mentioned before, there are a lot of technologies, a lot of approaches, a lot of skills that you may know, but you may not use. So this is something that most of the job offers ask, that you knew about MapReduce, but it not doesn't mean that you are going to use it always when you work with data. We use another approach. It's just another one from AWS, the database migration, DMS. And yeah, it is because of the convenience of the team and the partnership that the company has with AWS. Yeah.
Okay.
No problem.
That's really awesome.
I have a question, Teresita.
Yep.
Regarding AWS services, which ones would you recommend to someone who is in the data field I don't know. Sorry, sorry. Let me say the question again. uh, what AWS service would you recommend to someone who is learning data science?
Okay. I will recommend S3. Um, that's still because you can store everything in there. So you can store your models, you can store your data, you can store their output of the output of the or your models. You can store everything in there. So if you want to work locally, you can process your data in your machine and save it everything in the cloud. So it's the easiest way to use the cloud now, to bring something from your local machine and then the output goes to the cloud. That is very easy. And in another hand, you can use also the RDDS, that is for database management, and you can put your data in the cloud, actually in a schema form, in a database form like MySQL, as like Postgres, Dynamo, I think, and then you can use that data in your models. You can bring the data into your local computer, process the data, and then do whatever that you want with the data. Those are the most, I think, the most usable for data processing, because I have heard that AWS have something for machine learning. I actually use it, but I use it just the. I am working in a fintech company, so AWS have something called AWS Fraud Detector. That is a machine learning stuff. I don't know. It's a machine learning framework that helps you to decide if some transaction is fraud or not. You just need to give your data, to label your data, and the framework does everything for you. But we don't like it, so we just try it. We just try it because we need to try something to say that you don't like something. You need to try it to have arguments. So, but yeah, in a general way, you need to use S3 buckets and RDDS, I think. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's for deployment your model. It's a tool that AWS gives you that helps you to deploy your model for production. Because one thing is that you do your model and you train your model and you got your results, but then you need to productionize your model for other data to use your model, the outcome of your model, and start predicting based on your model already trained. So the first step is get the data, train your model, and go and output of your model. Let's say that the output is like 85% that your model do a good prediction, and that is enough. But you test that model with some set of data, and now you want that data coming from other sources test your model and actually work with your model. So that's why you can use SageMaker to productionize your model. It like exposes your model for other data to be consumed, and then start predicting other data that is not yours. That is more or less SageMaker. Exactly. Yeah, it's expensive because, well, AWS uh, takes your money just as you use your data infrastructure. So it is paid as you use. If you train a lot of models, of if the training is very intensive, it can cost a lot of money.
Yeah, thanks, Teresita. Seems like AWS is a really expensive tool, so you have to use it carefully because actually we're running on, well, not right now with Jitsi, but we're using digital client, and we're
Mhm.
about spending 1 peso per month if I correct, Alfonso. But yeah, we share the feeling of being careful with cloud services like that because you don't know, you are spending the money of the company, and the business doesn't like to lose money, so
Mhm.
we have to be really careful with that.
Yes, and there are partnerships. For example, some companies have already partnership with some cloud platforms that make them the bill less expensive. So uh, that's why we use AWS, because of the partnership that most of the companies do. Mhm.
That's interesting. So that makes me ask you the next question. Do you have an AWS certification or something related to that?
No, no, I don't have any
No.
certification of AWS because I use it by in the very basics, like the S3 buckets, the RDS that I mentioned, like DynamoDB, like DMS tasks. But I think the certification are more. It's my perspective. Are
That's
more
great.
for the people who really is in the AWS configuration, like DevOps, like sysadmin. Actually, some developers, I think they have a certification for developers, but that certification is in order to know the resources that they offer. So yeah, that's where I am. I am not looking into that certification because it is not something that I think that I really know, really need.
Just take it and use it. Solve me this problem with this tool.
Exactly. Actually, we have DevOps in our company. So if I had an issue, well, actually, if I need some configuration to some instance or something, I need to ask to a DevOps. So it's not my thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because DevOps is a whole area. Because I,
Yes.
I, I have understood because they're working alongside all the cloud providers, and they making sure that everything you do works perfectly on the production server. They're
Mhm.
really there are superheroes behind us.
Yes.
Thank you. And we have a question from Tejedor de Alas. What is your opinion of Coursera, Udemy, of for learning, for example?
I think all of those courses are good. The bad thing is how they sell them, because most of them says that you are going to become a data scientist in 3 months, when it's a lie. You are not going to become a data scientist in 3 months. It doesn't matter how many courses do you take, or if you take the whole list of courses that they offer, that it's a lie. You are not gonna get that. Why? Because they offer you everything pretty. They don't teach you how to process data, because all the data that they give you for their exercise are already processed, are already structured, are already well presented for doing the exercises, and are very precise exercises. So the Titanic is the most classic. What is the probability of more men surviving the disaster? Or which is the probability of more child surviving the disaster? There are a very classical example, and they exposes in their courses very classical examples that you may find in some other medium blog. I don't know. So some of them are very good, like the Coursera's, the algorithms, the Python programming, the the Udemy. I actually took some of the Udemy from Scala, because in some time in my career I need to write code in Scala, and they are good. They are good. As I said, they teach very well. They have very good teachers, but the bad thing is how they sell them, and the bad thing, the worst, is that we believe that. So that's why people got disappointed, because they finish the courses and they don't actually can get a job, or don't feel comfortable to apply to a job for data science.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. And so as says Slackmark, which is completely agree with you as well. Rome was not built in 3 months,
Exactly.
and that's reality.
That's reality.
Okay, does anybody have another question for Teresita? Let me check. Seems like not. Let me see. Maybe some of the members of this call, they are experiencing the kind of the same issues that you experienced it before. There's something they got some microphone issues, so they can talk. So I want to believe that this is what they happen for some of the members. So
Yeah, probably.
okay. We got a question from Ricardo. When she will do another data science meetup?
Okay, the meetup is going to be on February the 26th. As far as I remember, it's our meetups is always the last Friday of the month, and we hosted by Zoom, but we do the transmission over Facebook Live mainly. So yeah, I will let you know, guys, through Twitter.
Yeah, stay tuned to the Facebook page. I think I'm going to share it for on the Telegram group right now. So anybody have another question for Teresita? Okay, I found the Facebook page and I'm going to share it on the Telegram group.
Mhm.
Let's wait for another question. Actually, I'm thinking about asking another question because I already asked you a lot of questions. Okay, we got a question from Slackheart. Teresita, do you like coffee or how do you wake up with it, without with it?
I love coffee. I am actually subscribed to a page, a Mexican web page that is My Coffee Box. Um, this is like kind of promotion here, but but a commercial here. But this is a Mexican coffee coming from Chiapas to all of the Mexican Republic. So it's a very good one because it's coming. It's it's homemade, I think, and they are a small company that distributes that coffee to all the states in the country. So I got subscribed that I'm getting my coffee each month because I cannot live without my coffee. But I cannot live also without my beer. Every day, at 4:15, 4:30, more or less, my dad comes and bring me a beer to my office. That's like a ritual.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And it is a artisan beer or it's a common beer, commercial
It's a
beer?
common beer. Yeah,
Uh,
it's a commercial beer.
That's really awesome.
Yep. You said you have some question.
Yeah, let me think about. Let me think about that. I was asking about to. Yeah, actually, I follow your. I follow you on Twitter, and you mentioned that when it comes to share your experience, it's better to have a portfolio, just like a GitHub account, and share your projects there. I would like
Yep.
to mention this as well here, uh, yeah, especially focusing on open source. Do you consider open source experience relevant to data science fields? Just to imagine that you build a business model or something that focuses on a specific problem, you can share it if the company agrees with that, or you have some confidential permissions to not share anything.
Well, the
The
thing
question,
here. Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
the question, how your work relates to open source? That's it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I love open source because we actually use a lot of libraries that are open source, a lot of technologies that are open source. So I think I'm familiar with the open source. Sadly, when you create some models for machine learning, they can be shared. The model can be shared, but that doesn't guarantee that the model is gonna work for you, because if the model is well done, is according the business. So unless you have exactly the same business, for example, we can create some kind of processes for processes, data pipelines that we can share. I mean, some scripts, um, batch scripts mainly, that we can share for setting up a certain platform, for processing certain amounts of data, for processing data inside. It's GitHub because if they were, of course, it is well done, or that start using it. So that's why I always sharing knowledge. Some people has tell me that they are not hired because of the lack of experience. But if they create a portfolio or how they solve those problems, that counts as experience, and they can prove that they know what they know. Yep.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Especially because open source can give you opportunities just alongside the field you want to get involved in on a company or a startup. So that's a really good advice you give on Twitter. Actually, I admire your work. So keep doing it. Keep work.
Thank you.
Keep sharing your work on the Data Lab community, because you guys are doing a really great job there.
Thanks. Meanwhile, they are people interested in data science, for sure that we are gonna be there.
That's really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we have few people here on the call, so I would like to ask, how do you feel? How do you guys feel about this? Do you want to end the meeting and say goodbye? We see you on the meeting of the week, or do you want to continue asking questions to Teresita? Maybe if Teresita, we are not interrupting you on anything, you can say that with us as well, and we can end up the meeting as well.
If there are no more questions, we can finish the meeting.
Okay. Just let's wait a couple of seconds if anyone's write a question. While they are writing up the question, I would like to thank you for your time, for sharing your experience with that. I think this was a really meeting session, because we got understood the data science field through your experience, and that's really awesome. Seems like you have a really good trajectory. So that's really awesome that you also love to share your knowledge through Twitter and your community. That's something that we value even in these internet days where everyone wants to become a data science or whatever they want to become. You found people like you are communities like this, and they're just getting started, and that's really awesome. I would like to thanks for that as well.
Thank you. I'm very happy to contribute, and thank you for inviting me to this. Actually, to this session, but actually to the community, to the textile community.
Yeah, it's a whole pleasure. Thank you for accepting it and just chilling out about any topic and just practice the English, because I think that one of the things that didn't mention in this session is that the English language is really important for any kind of job. So my final question will be: do you speak English in your work?
Every day. Yeah, we are you may know Clip. It's a fintech, a Mexican one, but the whole data engineering team it's half of the team is here in Mexico, but half of the team is in Utah. So we speak English every day. We used to do it just by because not just because we have to talk with people that is in Utah and they speak English, but actually when we have meetings just with the Mexican people, we have it in English. Just because of the culture of having everything in English. Documentation is in English. In programming, comments, variables, everything is in English. We used to do paid programming sessions, and we used to do that in English also. We used to have some seminars inside the team, just to, I don't know, for example, we have a PyTalk session just for me to explain how the Python data classes works. 1 week, then the other week another team member explain another thing, and so on. And we do that in English. So it is because it's very important for us to have well developed this skill, because it is for the rest of your life. It is gonna be it is a good inversion of your time doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. And I read recently that the most important language that every software engineer that needs to learn is English, actually, because you have to communicate with your team. And thanks to the pandemic, one of the good things of the pandemic is that every software company just became international thanks to the internet. We don't need to be especially on an office, so we can talk about what we did even in an email. So that I think that I completely agree with that as well. That we have to practice our English just to share what we think, just to communicate with the whole team. That I think it's really important to just get practice and share what you think.
Exactly, and it's a very different way in how you speak when you are talking in a very in a community, just talking and talking about different topic. But it's very difficult when you have to actually do a presentation, a technical presentation is very different. When you have to present some results to your stakeholders, to your VPs or something, it's very difficult. There are very different levels of language or wording that you should use. So it's important to practice all of them.
Completely agree with that. Thanks. Says Slack Martin, hire me, Teresita. I mean the Python language.
Well, let's see what I can do.
Let's cross fingers. Actually, on your company, they are hiring people currently, or they're not looking for.
Yeah, they never stopped to hire people despite of the pandemic season. I think it's less people, less job offers, but I think there are. But as far as I remember, most of them were for quality assurance.
Okay.
Yep.
That's really good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Well, seems like people is leaving the meeting. So, would you like to officially use it, or maybe
Yes,
we can
of
wait?
course.
Yeah, but I think not. I think that people is leaving now. So I message received. People wants to leave.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, officially, we're finishing this Ask Me Anything session. We're thanking again, Teresita, for having you, and we hope you enjoy being part of the community because we really enjoy to get your experience that you share with us. So thank you again for being with us, and hope to see you on the next meetings of the Tech Talks community.
It's a pleasure. Let's see there.
And I'm going to finish the YouTube transmission.